Ladies and gentlemen, 17 years ago, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh called Naxalism India's gravest internal security threat. Today, that threat has been declared as history. Speaking in Lok Sabha today, Union Home Minister Amit Shah declared the era of red terror is over. But how did a movement that began in Naxalbari, West Bengal, end up spreading across 14 states? And why did it take decades to crush the left-wing extremism? Shah blamed it on political hesitation, policy paralysis and collusion.
कि नक्सलवाद का मूल कारण विकास की डिमांड नहीं है, एक आइडियोलॉजी, जिस आइडियोलॉजी को अपने राष्ट्रपति पद का चुनाव जीतने के लिए 1970 से इंदिरा जी ने स्वीकार कर लिया। ये वामपंथी विचारधारा के कारण नक्सलवाद फैला। आज हिडमा जब मारा गया, मान्यवर 172 जवानों को मारने वाला हिडमा जब मारा गया, इंडिया गेट पर नारे लगे, कितने हिडमा मारोगे, हर घर से निकल लेंगे हिडमा। ये वीडियो को राहुल गांधी ने स्वयं ट्वीट किया है। गरीबी के कारण नक्सलवाद नहीं फैला, बल्कि नक्सलवाद के कारण इस पूरे क्षेत्र में सालों तक गरीबी रही। हमारी सरकार का पॉलिसी है, चर्चा उसी से होती है जो हथियार डालता है, जो गोली चलाता है, उसको जवाब गोली से ही दिया जाता है। ये हमारी सरकार का पॉलिसी, हथियार डाल दो।
This decisive end game did not happen overnight. This needed a clear, coordinated strategy. Relentless security pressure combined with development to ensure that the Red Corridor was replaced by the Growth Corridor. The result, over 10,000 Maoists have surrendered in just the last decade. In 2025 alone, over 2,300 cadres laid down their arms and 630 more have surrendered in just the first 3 months of 2026. Today, top Maoist leadership has been neutralized. Their funding channels have been choked. Their recruitment pipelines disrupted, and India's longest running insurgency has been fully dismantled.
मारे गए नक्सली 3 साल के अंदर 26 के अब तक मार्च तक 706 नक्सली मुठभेड़ में मारे गए। गिरफ्तार कितने हुए मान्यवर? 2218 गिरफ्तार हुए। उनको पकड़कर हमने जेलों में डाला है, अदालतों की शरण में ले गए और आत्मसमर्पण कितना किया? 4839 लोगों ने आत्मसमर्पण किया। आपकी मानवता संविधान तोड़कर हथियार लेकर घूमने वालों के लिए ही है। इनके हथियारों से जो नागरिक मारे जा रहे हैं, इनके लिए आपकी मानवता नहीं है। मानवता के दोहरे चरित्र को मैं स्वीकार नहीं करता मान्यवर। ये मानवतावादी नहीं है, नक्सलियों के समर्थक है।
But even as Union Home Minister Amit Shah tore into those justifying Naxal violence, citing poverty, injustice and socio-economic conditions as excuses to kill thousands, the very voices who were in power when the Red Terror spread its fangs are back to making the same arguments and defense.
ये नक्सलवाद शुरू कैसे हुआ? अगर आप देखिएगा तो जल जमीन को लेकर के, जल जमीन जंगल को लेकर के हमेशा फॉरेस्ट में, छत्तीसगढ़ में, उड़ीसा में, झारखंड में आदिवासियों ने लड़ाई लड़ा। इसके ऊपर में विस्तार रूप से पहले कारण समझना चाहिए कि नक्सलवाद शुरू कैसे हुआ और इसको कैसे खत्म किया जाए।
If something is returning to normal, if you have done away with LWE, then why are your troops still there? Why is the area so still heavily militarized? And what is accountability most important for fake encounters and extrajudicial killings?
हमारे लोग शहीद हुए, नक्सलिज्म का शिकार हमारे लोग हुए, इनका तो कोई आदमी नहीं हुआ ना। सलवा जुलूम चलाया किसने? कांग्रेस के लोगों ने चलाया। शहादत किनकी हुई? कांग्रेस के लोगों की हुई, आपकी सरकार के रहते हुई, और आप बात कर रहे हो हम पर।
Shah has made it clear the only policy that the centre follows is bullet for bullet. But listen in to how BJP described past Congress government's priority.
एक बहुत बड़े पत्रकार ने लिखा था कि कांग्रेस के अंदर की जो सेइंग है वो है, द सेइंग फॉर कांग्रेस इज, सैनिकों तुम संघर्ष करो, सैनिकों तुम संघर्ष करो, हमें पता नहीं हम किसके साथ हैं। सैनिकों तुम संघर्ष करो, 76 सैनिक तुम शहीद हो जाओ, मगर हमें पता नहीं हम किसके साथ हैं। हम पद्मा के साथ हैं, हम विनायक सेन के साथ हैं, हम तुम्हारे साथ तो कतई नहीं है। ये हालत थी कांग्रेस पार्टी की।
Well, the Congress was not left far behind, trying to take some credit, and said it made several efforts to curb left-wing extremism and even lost several of its top leaders to red terror. But listen in to Home Minister in UPA government, P. Chidambaram. He had faith not in his forces, but in the conviction of Naxal terrorists.
I was the first minister of this government to say, we are ready for talks. We are not asking you to lay down arms, because we know you won't do that, because you believe in armed liberation struggle. You will not lay down arms.
कोई सीज फायर नहीं होगा। सरेंडर करना है तो सीज फायर करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है। हथियार डाल दो, पुलिस एक भी गोली नहीं चलाएगी, आपको रीएस्टैब्लिश करेगी।
And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the Motorola legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Politics behind delay in eliminating red terror? That's the question and that's the debate coming up on the other side.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Pradeep Bhandari, national spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, scientist, Vivek Srivastava, political analyst, advocate Niladri Bhattacharya, political analyst, supports the Trinamool Congress, advocate Anmol Pawar, national spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party. But my first question goes to Dr. Sanjay Jha, Congress leader, author, columnist. And Sanjay Jha, my question to you is very simple. First, it was P. Chidambaram as Union Home Minister who made excuses and said, no, don't put down your arms, we will talk to you. That is the soft policy that actually led to the increase of Naxalism, left-wing extremism, red terror, call it what you will, into 14 states. It started in Bengal and spread to 14 states. I want to ask you today, it is the same argument being given by some congressmen like Hussain Dalwai, who say, बेचारे हैं, गरीब हैं, इसीलिए दे. Can there be any negotiation with anybody who uses violence in order to try and get justice on their own terms? And the Home Minister actually went out and said they ran a parallel government. In the existing constitution, is there space for another parallel government by some Janta government that was being put up by Naxals? Is the Congress responsible for being soft on this red terror?
The clear answer is that Congress was never soft on violence or armed insurrection against the state, because I have been part of that conversation for many years. Let me answer it very succinctly in 3 bullet points. I was very disturbed to hear Mr. Amit Shah, if I'm not mistaken, that's what he said. He said that the entire Naxal movement was not driven out of economic necessity or problems, but largely on account of an ideological war. That's also a blatant lie. We all know that Naxal succeeded because of the extreme disproportionate income inequalities and the way the tribals were being also evicted by the mining lobbies of the corporate sector. Point number 1. Point number 2, I would request the BJP, Mr. Shah is the Home Minister. He needs to be responsible. Don't do the chest thumping, because these battles are never going to end until you are able to finally put an end to the exploitation of our tribal resources, the forest deforestation going on, the rampant mining which is given away to the crony capitalists. It's a challenge. Mr. Shah and Mr. Modi, remember after Article 370 was abrogated, they made a statement to the public of India that terror and militancy has come to an end, and then Pahalgam happened. So I would request Mr. Shah through your channel to be a little circumspect.
It is really a pity. It is really a pity how you want to convert an achievement of our paramilitary forces, of state governments and state police forces, in fighting Naxal terror and bring it down to just pure politics. When you condemn and question the Home Minister, well, he gave the entire reason and relationship between how this Maoist activity, left-wing extremism, has its roots sometime in Russia, sometime in China, and how it came out to be. But Pradeep Bhandari, did you notice? Sanjay Jha talked about the fact that there were income disparities. Kam se kam ye to maan liya कि Congress की regime में income disparities थी. Because Naxalism started in the 70s, and from 70s to about 1998, it was the Congress in power in one form or the other. And there were income disparities then. What did they do about it?
Right now,
Navika ji, I am doing your. Well, Mr. Jha,
Pradeep, I'm just giving a data point. 1% of Indians own 40%.
All right. Sanjay Jha, now hold on, be patient.
Well, Navika ji, I am doing at the outset. I am doing your debate from the constituency Naxalbari, from where Charu Majumdar had started the entire Naxal movement, the Red Terror movement, and this seat has been won by the Bharatiya Janata Party in 2021 with more than 60,000 votes. This tells you how even the people of the country have rejected these Naxals and Naxal-supported places. Well, at the outset, Navika ji, you cannot expect anything from the Congress Party because recall an individual called Binayak Sen. He was a member of Sonia Gandhi's NAC and the Planning Commission. He was a convicted Naxalite. He was convicted of sedition, and he was officially the part of the Congress government and advising Sonia Gandhi's government. Recall Harsh Mandar, who had a soft heart for Naxalites. So this Naxal terror had propagated in the country because it was supported by the Congress Party, and the entire genesis of it is Naxals believed in Mao, and Mao is responsible for killing. So this is nothing out of poverty. If this is the same logic which terrorists used to give and terrorist sympathizers used to give, that Burhan Wani was a poor headmaster's son, so he picked up gun to kill people. There is nothing which can justify killing of innocent tribals, more than 12,000 who've lost lives. Now I'll tell you the seriousness of the Congress Party. On 6 April 2010, more than 70 of our CRPF Jawan was killed by the Naxals. Just a month after that, on 6th May 2010, you have then P. Chidambaram saying that do not leave your arms, we will come to talk to you. So imagine a situation that Naxals were killing our CRPF Jawan and the Congress Party was willing to talk to them without letting them lay their arms. Revant Reddy says that Naxals are like our brothers. You have a Congress leader who's justifying Naxals as poor individuals. So Congress Party, whose ideological patron are urban Naxals like Harsh Mandar and Binayak Sen, justified red terror, allowed it to propagate, and believed in this philosophy. It is not a mere coincidence that in the last 10 years, the Naxal-related violence has come down by 75%, security forces' death has come down by 72%, civilian death is down by more than 55%. It is because the security forces have been given a free hand, and those who want to leave Naxalism have been allowed to come into mainstream. This is a pure government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government, whose concerted policy has ensured that India is Naxal-free. No Naxalite, dreaded Naxal criminal exists in the country at this moment. But my larger point here is, why did Naxalism propagate for 70 years when the Congress was in power? Because Congress Party's ideological patron justified it.
Absolutely. And look at Sanjay Jha, what Rahul Gandhi did and what the Congress did. When Hidma, the most dreaded Naxal, was neutralized, he was responsible for 26 attacks, deaths of 150 personnel and civilians, including 76 CRPF Jawans in the 2010 Dantewada massacre. Do you know, for them, there were certain people propped up by the Congress Party who at India Gate said, "Kitne hidma maroge, har ghar se hidma niklega." That is the romanticization of the Naxal movement, of the left-wing extremism that was done by the Congress Party. I mean,
Navika, 2 short points. He's talking about Chhattisgarh. Will he tell the viewers watching your program today? Your program has got a very high rating. Why has Adani been given so much of land in Chhattisgarh? Can you explain that?
Can you first explain to me? Can you you first explain to me the romanticization of Hidma that was happening? Was he not responsible for killing 76 CRPF jawans?
Nobody is denying that. But you cannot ignore the corporate.
So then, you have a right to ask a subsequent question when you can answer this one. And why was P. Chidambaram in 2010 making excuses? Anand Ranganathan, does it not make you sick when Sanjay Jha and the Congress party actually begin to eulogize Hidma, the man who has killed civilians and CRPF personnel, and start making excuses? Adani ho gaya, wo ho gaya. Adani ko Chhattisgarh mein kab mila tha zameen? Please inform him. In which government was this entire deal being done? Anand Ranganathan.
Why has the Supreme Court put a bar on Aravalli Hills? These are important points.
Don't jump from Chhattisgarh to Aravalli Hills. Hold on to your geographical location while Anand Ranganathan gives you the facts on the case.
No, these are all related to this.
Hold on, Sanjay Jha. Others have a right to speak.
Fair enough.
Sanjay, please don't. You were never like this. Look, let me demolish this argument within 5 seconds. When Sanjay says injustice has been done to a community, a people, and that is the reason why they pick up their arms and fight for it, that is the rationalization, justification. Let me ask him, is he for the Kashmiri Hindus picking up arms to defend themselves as opposed to what happened, a genocide against them? Yes or no?
Anand, what nonsense are you talking? Everybody has condemned the violence.
They have been driven.
The issue is that this is being made into left versus right.
Away from them.
No,
they
Anand,
cannot go back after 35 years.
Right-wing extremism.
But for them, you don't advocate
Can you talk about the rise of
arms?
right-wing extremism?
For them, no guns.
Answer the right-wing extremism violence in India.
Why don't you, Navika, this is the hypocrisy that needs to be...
You asked me a question, I'm asking you...
Absolutely. Now, Sanjay Jha, Anand Ranganathan's turn to speak. Anand.
Yes. The point is, there has been an astonishing success, and one has to congratulate Amit Shah and Narendra Modi. But we also have to accept the painful truth that a country is still being run inside this country, and that the Naxals and Maoists are running it. We also have to accept that the bigger country, India, has not been able to defeat this little country, even though the little country is shrinking as time goes by. In fact, we are now entering the most dangerous phase, Navika. The Modi government, as I said, led creditably by Amit Shah, has achieved unprecedented success. There are more Maoists that are being neutralized as well as they are surrendering. This red menace, the red corridor, call it what you will, has now shrunk to a red pakdandi. But the fact remains, we cannot let our guard down, especially as the mother country is feeding and nourishing this fetus, because the umbilical cord is still intact. You see it on the panel, it is intact. We can, Navika, win 4 wars against an external enemy, Pakistan. We can go and bomb them even in peacetime. But we cannot seem to defeat this internal enemy. This country within a country, parallels with the fate of America and Vietnam could inevitably be drawn. But let's not go there, Navika. Let's focus on this little country that has killed thousands of our bravest jawans and continues to. The little country has its own defense, its guns, munitions.
But you have to acknowledge
what Chidambaram said.
But you have to acknowledge, Anand Ranganathan, that over the last 10 years, in thousands, these left-wing extremists have laid down their arms, because this government and the Home Minister made it very clear, this government followed the policy that there cannot be any justification of poverty leading people to Naxalism. He said it was the other way around, that because there was Naxalism, there was poverty, because the geographical terrain gave them advantages, and they used this violence, not to allow development to come there. And Vivek Srivastava, can there be any justification of this left-wing extremism as it existed over 5 decades and destroyed 14 states? When you have the will, you can fight against it, and that's what the Modi Sarkar has demonstrated.
Yes. Modi Sarkar, when demonetization happened, said terrorism ki humne kamar tod di. Then when 370 was abrogated 2019, Honorable Home Minister Amit Shah ji, जो आज बोल रहे थे, बोला 3 महीना on Kashmir is normal. It took him so late to even hold elections where he did not get a single seat in Kashmir. So now the Honorable Home Minister, to divert from Iran, can keep on speaking whatever he wants. And when Mr. Owaisi was speaking of AIMIM in the parliament today, he said, do not try to celebrate too soon. You do not solve these problems till you talk. We had a Punjab problem. It was beautifully managed by the Congress. KPS Gill, while he was shooting down the militants on one side, the government was accommodating those who wanted to come back. Errant police officers who had done fake encounters were punished. If you will not talk, it is an economic problem because of disparity. You cannot compare it with the problem of the Kashmiri Pandits like Mr. Ranganathan is doing. He doesn't have an understanding of the problem. That was not a state-sponsored problem because of politician-businessman nexus. This is a problem because of the politician-businessman nexus. When people are exploited, they become poor.
So,
I am against violence.
So politician-businessman nexus, was it not started in the Congress regime, Anand Ranganathan,
yes,
when they keep talking about it?
No, first of all, I take absolutely strong objection, unacceptable remarks made by Vivek. And let me explain. Kashmiri Hindus, they were raped, pillaged, looted. They were driven out of their homes by their neighbors. Their homes were taken over. And you say
it was not state-sponsored.
No, 1 second. It doesn't matter whether it was state-sponsored or not. Should they or should they not take up arms like the Maoists have?
It was not because of politician and businessmen. They are different problems. Arey sir, they are different problems.
State does not
with different origins.
State does not.
Again, the justification. This again, the justification has started. They had problems. Vivek Srivastava, I also have a lot of problems. Should I pick up the gun? Should I pick up the gun? Can I justify picking up the gun and living by the gun?
Yes.
You know, Pradeep Bhandari, this is the problem. The romanticization of terror, whether it is left-wing extremism or terror from Pakistan, they just make it into some romanticization ki hai, bichare, inko justice nahi mila. Fair. Lots of people have lots of problems in this country. Can they take law into their own hands? And if everyone begins to do that, what is this constitution for them?
Well, Navika ji, Vivek Srivastava is practicing intellectual terror on your panel because he's intellectually trying to justify an individual picking gun and shooting down and killing innocent tribals. More than 12,000 tribals have lost their life. Some of them had come to in August. Their legs were amputated. Someone had lost their father. So this entire Naxal red terror was anti-tribal, anti-poor, anti-development. Bastar, which used to run a parallel government in the past, today has a super speciality hospital and has become a growth engine of Chhattisgarh. That is the change which has happened. The Constitution article suggests that nobody has a right to pick up a gun against the state, and if they do so, they are nothing but practicing terror. So Mr. Vivek Srivastava, who was called out by the Bombay High Court, where the Bombay High Court told the left government that will first learn to be nationalistic. That is what, as Bombay High Court had called up Vivek Srivastava out, he is exactly practicing it. I want to ask a simple question. Vivek, more than 12,000 poor people lost their life because of red terror, Naxal terror, which was supported by the Congress party. Do you justify it? Do you back likes of Harsh Bandar and Binayak Sen, who were also convicted? Binayak Sen was convicted of sedition, and you at the past was part of a government which had Binayak Sen as an ideological patron. Do you apologize to the people of the country for 70 years consciously spreading red terror? You need
Vivek
to apologize to the people
Srivastava,
of the
do you
country.
want to take a minute? Do you want to take a minute and apologize for supporting an ideology that encouraged left-wing extremism? And may I tell you, how many people have lost their lives? In the last 10 years alone, 126 districts down to 11 districts. That has been the achievement. 1,200 kilometers of roads have been built in these, 12,000 kilometers of roads have been built in these areas. 586 fortified police stations have been made. Steps have been taken. There has been work that has been done to end left-wing extremism. Vivek Srivastava, you are a logical Indian, and I don't question your patriotism. You would actually support all the activity that has happened in the last 10 years, yes or no?
Logically Indian or Vivek?
कोशिश तो कर
Now
रही
let me
हूँ
please speak.
कोशिश कर रही हूँ now he will demonstrate
Pradeep, I mean this whole rhetoric. No. ये सारा कुछ कांग्रेस ने किया. नक्सलबाड़ी is a village in West Bengal. एक agricultural uprising वहाँ पे हुई. उसके खिलाफ मिसेस गांधी ने सिद्धार्थ शंकर रे को भेजा. And thousands were killed over there. What are you talking? In 2013, who are the people killed by the Naxalites? कटघरे से बाहर करोगे आप? Congress in fact was following the line.
Vivek Srivastava, was Hidma a terrorist? Anand Ranganathan asking you a question point blank. Was Hidma a terrorist?
That is,
yes or no?
See.
Yes or no?
Yes.
This is a short answer. Yes or no answer?
Yes or no नहीं होता.
हिडमा को मार के
अगर प्रॉब्लम खत्म होती है मारो. लेकिन एक हिडमा को मारने से, अरे बाबा लेट मी स्पीक यार.
हाँ, एक हिडमा को मारने से बताइए.
अगर एक हिडमा को मारने से प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व होती है, जरूर मारिए आप जरूर मारिए. लेकिन अगर उसको मारने से के बाद आपने रूट कॉज को नहीं हैंडल किया और 10 हिडमा और खड़े हो गए, मैं उसको खत्म कर
This is the same statement that was being made at India Gate after Hidma's killing. And Anmol Pawar, I want to ask you, do you think terrorism, whether it is from Pakistan or whether it is internal terrorism because of left-wing extremism, should this country have a zero tolerance, yes or no? Will you call Hidma a terrorist or not?
Navika ji, good evening. Navika ji, I completely agree with you that there's no justification for picking up the gun. Our society is governed by rule of law and there's no place for violence in such a society. Naxalism and terrorism must end. Everyone wants that. Today, the Honorable Home Minister in the Parliament House gave credit to CAPF, Central Armed Police Forces, CRPF, CISF. There are 1.1 million personals who are guarding 15,000 kilometers of our border. They are fighting against Naxalism, terrorism, and they are sacrificing their lives. But look at the hypocrisy, Navika ji. Unfortunately, today, the same government introduced CAPF Bill 2026, overturning the judgment passed by the Honorable Supreme Court, Union of India versus Rajesh Kumar 2025, thereby depriving the same very soldiers from their from pension funds, their rightful entitlements, and denying them their martyr rights. Let me give you some figures. CRPF, 2,290 soldiers were martyred. BSF, 2014.
That you are fighting
CISF,
for the rights of CRPF personnel and jawans. Everybody in this country is with you. But Anmol Pawar, पहले तो वो बता दीजिए. If Hidma is a terrorist, and should anybody like P. Chidambaram or Hussain Dalwai or Jairam Ramesh ever give cover fire and say the poor people, they have not got justice, that is why they have wo raah bhatak rahe hain. Can we take that kind of a view, or do we just treat terror as what it is? Terror, and it has to end. There cannot be any justification for it.
Certainly, Navika ji, there's no justification of it, and we must strongly condemn if such statements came from Congress leaders.
Well, so let me get in Niladri Bhattacharya. Niladri Bhattacharya. It may have been Naxalbari where it started from, but the romance that left-wing extremism has had with politics is legendary. Whether it was Indira Gandhi's regime, whether it is today, you know, there are sympathizers who roam around and who get support of the mainstream political parties. And I want to ask you today, will this country not have to make a choice just like the choice that was made by the Modi government? Amit Shah made this an absolute, bottom line that 31st March 2026, Naxalism would be ended. And there was a plan that they played to, and today huge successes have been reported. Do you think this was the right way, or making excuses the way the Congress governments did in the past was the right way?
Navika, you must understand that Bengal has been on the forefront of the receiving bloc as far as Naxalism is concerned. Be it founding, and up to 2013, there were at least 7 districts in Bengal. We called it the Jungle Mahal district, which are under Maoist. But then Mamata Banerjee, in her typical fashion, with a carrot and stick approach and with the development approach, we have declared ourselves Maoist free since the year 2014 onwards. Now, even after that model being there with the development and bringing those Maoists back to the mainstream, I don't know what took the Honorable Home Minister so many number of years to come and declare today that India to be Maoist free. See, Maoism as a concept, it is a utopian concept. It cannot be supported. But then you cannot have a bullet for a bullet. You need to have a soft approach also. In Bengal, the districts of Jhargram, Jungle Mahal, Paschim Midnapur, the districts which are very Maoist infested. Today you go and see the development there. Industries are there, roads are there, hospitals are there, schools are there. And the Maoists have willfully surrendered and come back to the mainstream. Yes, there was one encounter of Kishanji which was held, but that broke the back of the Maoist, and after that, Bengal is now Maoist free. Chhattisgarh, MP, that red corridor, why has it taken 15 years? This approach could have been given earlier also. The BJP is in power since 2014. This approach could have been brought at that point of time and could be done. And please don't forget that it was Siddharth Shankar Ray who first broke the back of the Maoists in the 70s. A generation of young boys were killed just in the name of Maoism. So bullet for a bullet doesn't suit
Pradeep
anyone.
Bhandari, please respond. Pradeep Bhandari, please respond.
Well, Navika ji, at the outset, the terror that the Maoists used to inflict is exactly what is happening in Bengal by the state inflicting that terror, by Mamata Banerjee as the chief minister saying that those who do not believe in her political ideology, she will teach them a lesson. And the Calcutta High Court even called it out, saying there is no rule of law, but law of the ruler. And she has in fact normalized Naxalism by in 2020. In 2021, Mamata Banerjee and Trinamool Congress has said that we have many Naxalites in Trinamool Congress, and there was a Naxalite Chandradhar Mahato which the Trinamool Congress inducted inside the party. So you have inducted Maoists and Naxalites, and you are exactly practicing what they used to do with the state's label right now.
Mr. Bhandari, refresh your memory, he is in jail.
He came out of jail and then joined your party. You are exactly practicing.
Political slugfest versus the fight against left-wing extremism. Anand, I just want to come back to you. I just want to end with this question. The kind of cover fire that was given to left-wing extremism or red terror is the same cover fire that is given to Pakistan. Haven't you seen the same kind of reflex action that comes in from the Congress party and some other sympathizing alliance partners who say the same thing? You look at, they will rather blame Modi, they will rather blame people in this country than blame terror that comes, whether it is within the country or from outside the country. Why is this possible? What is this romanticization?
Well, obviously, it's got to do with ideology. You've just seen 2 people on your panel justifying and rationalizing picking up the arms. But can I just say this? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but the back of Pakistani terrorism was broken through, as they say, Dhurandhars infiltrating. Maybe a few Dhurandhars infiltrated the Naxals and Maoists as well. Vivek will know more details about that. Vivek,
he's attributing some blame on you.
I did not expect you to indulge in propaganda film promotion, man. Please, for God's sake.
Dhurandhar का नाम ले दिया तो meltdown होना ही था. Well, that meltdown, save it for another day, Sanjay Jha, because Dhurandhar is definitely not the debate today. We were discussing and debating left-wing extremism. I think it's a day we all as Indians need to be proud. We have fought a battle. And of course, I agree, we can't let our guards down because, well, we can't allow left-wing extremism and red terror to come back and bite us when we least expect it. But the fact that there are huge successes because there was a policy of zero tolerance, a deadline that was given, And our forces, really led by the Home Minister, Amit Shah, have fought to a plan. To that extent, of course, this nation salutes this fight, not just of the Jawans, but also of the political establishment that made an iron-fisted policy. And we must remember that policies are important when we need to achieve successes of this kind. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to all my panelists joining me on debate number 1. On the